You know that feeling, right? You've got a houseplant and you watch it get sadder and sadder and nothing you do seems to help. Well, it turns out the real problem might not be what you think at all. We're about to crack the code on this super common plant care mystery.
Yep, you heard that right. The number one reason an indoor plant doesn't make it, it's not because we forget about it. It's because we care just a little too much. It's this crazy paradox that gets even the most dedicated plant parents.
And that leads us to this whole idea of a killer's kindness. See, you think you're doing all the right things, but those good intentions, they might actually be leading your plant down a pretty dark path.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We see those drooping leaves, maybe they're turning a little yellow, and our gut instinct just screams, "It's thirsty, grab the watering can." But what if that's the absolute worst thing you could do?
I mean, does this sound familiar? It's such a frustrating cycle. The plant looks thirsty, so you give it a drink. Then it somehow looks even more thirsty, so you give it another one. And before you know it, you've accidentally loved it to death.
So why on earth does this happen? Let's dive into the science of it all, because I'm telling you, once you get what's happening below the surface, in the soil, it's a total game changer.
It all comes down to a process called root respiration. It sounds a little technical, but it's simple. We don't really think about it, but plant roots need to breathe. They pull in oxygen from all these tiny little air pockets in the soil, and without that oxygen, they just can't function.
And this just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the healthy roots. They've got space, they've got air, they're firm and light-colored. Now look at the other side. When you overwater, you fill up all those air pockets. The roots can't breathe, they suffocate. They get soft, turn black, and start to rot. They are literally drowning in there.
This brings us to the most confusing part of this whole thing. It's a classic case of mistaken identity because, and this is the crazy part, a drowning plant looks almost exactly like a thirsty one.
So how in the world are you supposed to tell the difference? This is the ultimate challenge for every plant owner, and honestly, getting this right is the secret to keeping your plants happy.
Okay, so here's the big aha moment. When those roots are rotting and damaged, they can't do their main job anymore, which is absorbing water. So the plant wilts and droops, not because there isn't enough water in the soil, but because its roots are too broken to drink it. It's like being stranded in the ocean, surrounded by water, but having no way to take a sip.
Think of this table as your ultimate cheat sheet. Now, look at that overlap. Yellow leaves and drooping, they happen in both cases. That's the trap. But the real tiebreakers, the clues that give it all away, are what you can feel and smell. If that soil is soggy, if the stem feels mushy, or if you get a funky, sour smell, you're not dealing with thirst. You're dealing with a flood.
All right, so you've got a hunch. You suspect overwatering. But how can you be 100% sure? Well, it's time to put on your detective hat. And the good news is you don't need any special gadgets, just your own senses. Here are 3 dead simple tests. First, just use your finger. Stick it an inch or 2 into the soil. If it's still wet a few days after you watered, that's a huge red flag. Second, the weight test. A waterlogged pot is a heavy pot. Simple as that. And third, the sniff test. Don't be shy. Healthy soil smells good, like dirt. Rotting roots, well, they smell like rot.
So what happens if your detective work confirms your worst fears? First of all, don't panic. If you catch it early enough, you can absolutely go on a rescue mission and save your plant. It's not a death sentence.
Okay, step 1 is obvious, but it's the most important. Step away from the watering can. Just stop. Let that soil completely dry out. Now, if things are looking really bad, you might need to perform a little plant surgery. Gently take the plant out of the pot, get rid of that soggy soil, and trim off any roots that look black and feel mushy. You want to see firm, light-colored roots. Those are the healthy ones.
I know it might feel a little intense, but what you're really doing is giving your plant a completely fresh start, a second chance to bounce back and really thrive.
So saving the plant is great, but preventing this from happening all over again, that takes a real shift in how we think about watering in the first place. It's a total mental reset.
So many of us get stuck in the old way of thinking, right? We follow a strict schedule, like I water all my plants on Sunday. The new way is to forget the schedule and just respond to what the plant is telling you. So instead of asking, how often should I water this, you start asking, does it need water right now? It's about observing, not just reacting.
And this quote just nails it perfectly. Watering isn't about time, it's about timing. It has nothing to do with the calendar, it has everything to do with the conditions in that pot at that moment.
And that really leaves us with this one last question. The next time you reach for that watering can, just pause for a second and ask yourself, what does my plant truly need right this minute? The answer might just be to leave it alone. And sometimes doing nothing is the most loving thing you can do for it.